antes, pues aquí estoy. Total catastrophe, and it is a crisis. Of a child, right there. All these NGOs, you're fake. It is this, the crisis of children. Good evening to all. How's everybody doing? I'm Oscar Blue for Oscar Blue and also for different networks. Real America's Boys News, Patriot Mobile, our sponsor in every journey that we take. Patriot Mobile, be sure to be following and also supporting good American companies, independent companies like Patriot Mobile, the best company, mobile company. Go and change. Stop using other mobile companies and go and support a Patriot Mobile. What is for you illegal for, and I'm not saying Republican, the average citizen of the United States of America, what is for you illegal for the Democrats at this particular point in juncture that is legal? What do I mean with this? When you are calling that this is, particularly something that is illegal that is happening at your borders, in your perception, the way that you have seen it, it is in that particular juncture. Now, before I go to what just happened that I just showed real quick on screen of another individual that entered the country of the United States illicitly, and he is identifying as a Hezbollah terrorist. Before I go to that, I want to put on screen this for everybody to understand how the border of the United States of America, how it has changed. For you to understand, it's really important that you understand why the global compact of migration. A lot of people now are catching attention to this compact because when you sign this compact, you're basically admitting and you are letting know the world that you are going to let in people that they identify as asylees or refugees, and they need to be admitted and vetted immediately, whether it is a port of entry or a non-port of entry. When you hear Alexandria Ocasio with a stubborn, egotistical tone saying these people are not illegals, they're asylees, it is because she knows the global compact of migration. And when you're part of the global compact on migration, everybody that enters to a non-port of entry, which is a non-port of entry to kilometers from the wall, jump in the wall, through a tunnel, whatever it is. And if he reports himself or identify himself to the authorities as a asylee or a refugee, he immediately did not commit a crime. This is under the Biden administration. It is so important for you to understand this because a lot of you guys are thinking it is illegal, but in the eyes of the current administration and the government, it is not. This is the reason why people are not being stopped, processed in through a non-port of entry. Before the Global Compact on Migration was signed, this was your law. On my right side, you will see a article that is released by the Cornell Law School, that is the Legal Information Institute. What is illegal entry into the United States of America? This is before the Global Compact on Migration. And it says on the topic, Exhibit A, improper time or place to avoidance of examination or inspection, misrepresentation, and concealment of facts. Any alien, the way that this is described, any alien who enters to or attempts to enter the United States of America at any time or place other than as designated by immigration officers, or number two, eludes examination or inspection by immigration officers, or number three, attempts to enter or obtain entry to the United States by willfully false or misleading representation or the willful concealment of a material fact shall be first commission of any such offense by fined under Title 18 or imprisoned not more than 6 months or both. And for a subsequent commission that is illegal re-entry of any such offense, be fined under Title 18, imprisoned to more than 2 years of both. This is illegal entry before the Global Compact on Migration. This is before. People need to understand. I have explained to you guys so many times what is the Global Compact on Migration. Basically, who runs your border laws and who runs this admission of mass migration into your country, it is the United Nations. Before, any individual who enters irregularly or illicitly or illegally, however you want to call it, into the United States of America will be stopped by Border Patrol, will be processed under, under Section 18, and then ultimately that it will take him to a subsequent, that is a detention center, and he will be processed into receiving a sentence for entering illegally, illicitly into the United States of America. Now, people are entering as a mass migration in through non-ports of entry, and why they are not being stopped and processed under the code, under the code of under the Title 18. Why they are not being processed? Because the Biden administration signed you without your consent, without the consent of Congress, without the consent of the Senate, into this international treaty that is called the Global Compact of Migration. That is basically your responsibility. It is to every country that signs you into this Global Compact on Migration. It is giving the United Nations the authority to tell the government what the government needs to provide for mass migration asylees or refugees, which I have explained before multiple live streams of what is the Global Compact on Migration. The Global Compact on Migration says that any person, migrant, that identifies entering the non-port of entry into the United States of America and identifies as an asylee or a refugee, this individual will have all the advantages as to receive monetary help, housing, schools, education, health, and work, and ultimately everything that they need under comfort for them to, before they receive a legal status in the country that they are migrating to. Ultimately, the number one country that everybody wants to migrate, it is the United States of America. Whether you have the whole continent from the United States all the way down, that the majority of the countries have signed into this Global Compact. This is why every country, it is a country of transit. A lot of people are saying why Panama is not stopping, because Panama is in the Global Compact and they're a country of transit. The migrants, they don't want to stay in Panama. They want to move to the next country, which is Costa Rica. Costa Rica also signed into the Global Compact on Migration, and ultimately they are a country of transit, which they provide the transit because they are into this United Nations law. What is for you illegally, for the current administration, for the NGOs, that they're the ones that they're aiding and abating every continuancy of this, for the NGOs that they are basically the patrol unit, for them to be on top of the Border Patrol and demand to the authorities, do not violate his human right. You're not eligible to touch him. You're not eligible to arrest him. You cannot say this to him. You cannot do this to him. You need to provide him this. You need to provide him that. You need to do this. You need to do that. And the NGOs, as everybody knows, they live out of federal grants. Federal grants are the money that is coming out of the taxpayer of the United States of America. Before, in the past administration, Donald Trump wanted to give $4.8 billion to Central and South America for them to provide jobs, for them to provide security, for them to provide economy, not to NGOs, because the past administration with Trump, they cut the global compact on migration and they cut the funding to start this compact into the United States of America. Ultimately, that money was going to be under a patrol unit, that it was going to be a task force. This task force was going to make sure that every single dollar was going to be spent on education, security, jobs, so and so and so. The Biden administration came in, and those 4.8 billion that you guys were thinking that it was going to be destined into the countries of Central and South America, being also immediately searched and investigated that money was going to be well spent. Those 4.8 billion, they were not directed to Central and South America. They were directed to NGOs, the non-governmental organizations that they continuously were demanding, and they were on top of the government to say, we need funds, we cannot sustain this, we cannot sustain this, we cannot sustain this, and we cannot sustain this. We need money. All that money, those billions of dollars, were sent to these NGOs. These NGOs have dedicated that money to practically helped through several congressional leaders, as Chuck Schumer, as people that they are in charge of this redirection of money into these non-governmental organizations. You have also OIM involved, that is the organization that is clearly involved in the whole continent. But ultimately, all the NGOs are the one that is in charge of the borders. Oh, and also in caravans, you will see some NGOs. You will see non-governmental organizations in migrant camps, as HIAS. You have seen them. You have seen them, and as I have explained in Bajo Chiquito, that they had a map of how to migrate and how to enter through the parts where the cartel was smuggling these people. So this is the idea. The idea that you need to understand. And it is sad. It's for the law-abiding citizen, for people that are ultimately somebody saying, are they giving cars to you? Are talking about the Chinese cars. Please do not mess with one topic to another. I'm trying to get to one topic to another. And last of the live feed, I will answer your questions if you want. So so this is for a lot of the people, the law-abiding citizen that thinks that this is illegal for the current administration, and for ultimately not only for the current administration, but also for the Democrats, for the people that they are part of this globalist agenda, for the people that they're part of this, this global compact of migration, have changed completely the vocabulary of illegal migration. Why? Because now they're trying to erase the name illegal. And what does that happen? Just give you an example. What just happened with Joe Biden? The murder of Laken, I think it's Laken Riley, the young lady who was murdered by an undocumented individual in the United States of America, an illegal individual in the United States of America. This individual was illegally in the United States of America. Immediately, Joe Biden, because he's pressured by these NGOs, he's pressured by the globalist compact of migration by the United Nations, he changed the name as to illegal, as to undocumented, or as to welcome, or as to changing politically the name. Why? Because if you change the name illegal, you will completely eradicate this that I just told you. This is what your law used to be: illegal entry into the United States of America. This crime right now, it does not exist. This, if you have a record, or if you are in a way, stopped by the Border Patrol and they process you and say, like, oh, okay, this guy, okay, it exists. But ultimately, as if you're reporting yourself or you're identifying yourself as a refugee or a asylee, you will not be stopped. You will be processed and then you will be released. They do their research if you have priors, if you have this, if you had that, and you get stopped. But ultimately, when you have a mass migration coming through a non-port of entry, if you will go by what is the law of the United States, everybody should be processed. And because they're entering to a non-port of entry, everybody should be returned. But the majority of these people, they got to understand that as soon as they cross the border to the United States of America and say, well, if I identify as I'm coming for a job, they will actually return me. But if I say that I'm an asylee or a refugee, they are going to give me housing. They're going to give me a bonus. They're going to give me a phone. They're going to give me all the opportunities for me to stay and have a better life. It is not the fault of the migrant. People need to understand this. This is why this is called weaponized migration. It is not the fault of the migrant. Yes, you have some bad apples that they're coming in and you have seen it. People that they are damaging, they are committing horrible crimes. And a lot of them, they are, committing horrible crimes as stealing, robbing in New York and Chicago. And some of them have committed murder. You have bad apples on all these millions of people that they're coming in. But ultimately, they are being used for a political propaganda, whoever the conspiracy or whatever your theory might be on the far future from 20 years from now, whatever the United States is going to look, because the way that it looks right now, I do not know how the United States is going to look 20 years from now. But the only thing that I can tell you is that what is for you illegal, for the current administration, it is not. For the current administration, this is not what a lot of people say, an invasion. For them, it is not. For them, it is migrants arriving to the border and asking for asylee and for asylum and refugee. That is not for them, for the current administration, for the administration that is in charge. These people are coming in a legal manner, asking for asylum through a non-port of entry and asking for help. So for the current administration, under international law, under the United Nations Global Compact on Migration, they're doing everything by the law. Because for you to have a backup and for you to have a justification that people are not entering illicitly into the United States of America, you need to have something that completely surpasses the law of the United States of America and United immigration law. And what is that? I have told you guys before. The United Nations is the one that is in charge of your borders. The United Nations international law surpasses this that I have right here on my left side, right here, your past immigration law. That people that are used to enter illicitly or illegally to your country, they should be stopped, processed, and turned into a detention center or returned back into their country. But now, the majority of them are identifying as asylees and refugees, and they are not returned. So I am explaining this for you to understand how it is going and how it is working right now in your country. I'm doing this to basically explain why a lot of people are saying why this mass migration is not being stopped, why this, why that. I have done multiple videos, and you can go to my YouTube list. I have done multiple videos of the Global Compact of Migration. These multiple videos that I have done is explaining what are the defaults and also the loopholes of the Global Compact of Migration and what is completely wrong with the Global Compact on Migration. The Global Compact says that people need to migrate documented, peacefully, with a purpose, through a filter, and secure. Out of all those five, they're not even compliant, none of them. Since the Global Compact has started, a lot of people have been robbed, migrants, assaulted, women have been raped, sadly, abused. Migrants have been stolen their property. Migrants are migrating through a jungle, for God's sake, through a horrible journey, a horrible pathway. That is not the way to migrate. And the global compact, that is completely the opposite, is not offering security. It's not offering a place correctly for them to migrate and to move forward into one place to another. Instead of the NGOs going to the particular place where the epicenter it is occurring, they are stationed at attention points for them to give them attention where they are already passed through the torturous journey. As I have seen multiple caravans walking with the migrants, and you will have the vehicle of the United Nations on the side where they're AC and all of them sitting down inside the vehicle, watching children walk for so many miles. Migrants and our people, our Latino people, are being used for a political purpose to interrupt immigration law, to interrupt border law. Basically, we are being used, and they are using the pandering, the victimization language that is ultimately this language that every leftist, every progressive liberal goes by. That is, if you don't agree with them, you are a white supremacist, you are a white imperialist, you are a conspiracy theorist, you are a fearmonger, you're creating hysteria, you are xenophobic, transphobic, homophobic, pronoun phobic, fat phobic, you are racist, fascist, narcissist, bigot, Zionist. If you do not comply with all of those, you are, if you don't agree with us, you're that. That is their victimization language, to cut your freedom of speech and to basically attack what is the reality. It is a strategy. It is ultimately, it is strategy. And continuously they use this as misinformation. Oh my God, creating violence, la la this, la la that, stupidity language. When it is basic logic. People are dying. Migrants are dying. Our people are suffering. And this treacherous journey. Do you think that when I go to the Darien Gap, I don't suffer emotional distress of seeing children going through currents of rivers, seeing these decomposed bodies, people injured, migrating through a jungle, migrating through a horrible mountain that is called the mountain of death, being assaulted, being abused, women being abused? Of course, it is horrible to see that. Why we are not building a channel, a humanitarian channel for people to have a better opportunity at life at their countries, first and foremost, and ultimately, if they want to migrate, why are we not providing the proper education for people to understand how to do it? Why we are still on these channels of irregular channels, where the only ones that they are profiting out of this, it is the organized crime and the cartel, and ultimately it is the NGOs that they are continuously pushing this narrative for people to continue to migrate through a jungle, through a desert, back of a tractor trailer, through a sea, jump in a wall, through a place that is horrible, and they know that they're being smuggled by the cartel and possibly they're going to make it or not. This is the bad thing about it. So for you, that you think that this is illegal, for the current administration, more than likely it is legal. Understand this. It is not for you to accept it. It is not for you to say, oh, so now I'm going to accept it. No. It's for you to analyze how the mechanism it is working right now. Who is in charge of your border? Who is it? I wish that I had Greg Abbott in front of me. All Greg Abbott talks about is, yes, we're going to put a barricade, and we'll put a barricade over here and barricade over there and barricade over here and barricade over there. And I will ask him, wait a second, you're putting barricades all over the place. I understand that you want to fight the cartel and you want to do this. Why don't you get out of the global compact on migration? Why don't you push the United Nations out of your state? Why don't you put a resolution for the UN to not have this control and for them to be not smuggled in through non-ports of entry? And you will save lives. That is the most important thing. Migrants are going to be saved, and people are going to migrate through a platform or through a pathway that is a safe pathway, and people are not going to be abused. Why are you not fighting that? Why nobody asked in the morning, Karen Jean-Pierre, are you part of the global compact on migration? How it is the United Nations that has power over your borders? Why the United Nations is exercising their immigration law on top of your immigration law? Why instead of detaining, you are processing? Why instead of processing, you are releasing? Why? Why nobody asks this? These are simple analytic questions that people that know the factor of the border, they will understand that these questions need to be asked and they need to be addressed immediately, because these are the questions that they will save lives, and also that they will stop a war that is going on in our country of Mexico because of the huge smuggling and the huge deficiency to control and to exercise a secure border. The cartel, it is fighting on our country, on our border side. The cartel, it is making millions and millions of dollars, and they're fighting for territory over the non-gates of entry. What you have provoked, letting people come in, has provoked also insecurity for our country, the country of Mexico. Imagine that, out of the suffering of people, out of the vulnerabilities of people, that they are being taken advantage by the cartel, there's a war going on top of it. And Mexico is a really insecure country when it comes to the criminal activity of the organized crime. We have 6 cities. The last time that I saw the statistics were 6 cities on the top 10 for violence and delinquents in terms to the cartel activity and massive homicides activity. We are an insecure country. We are not secure. I don't know who's selling you this idea. We have some metropolitan cities that they are outstandingly, great when it comes to job offers and work living and all of this. But ultimately, I will tell you something. The places that they are controlled by the cartel, they're still controlled by the cartel. And they're not being released because the cartel makes a huge profit out of it. Insecure borders, this is what has created a market. When you go to Necoclí, Colombia, before they enter the Darien jungle, you will see shopping carts that these people are selling the boots, they're selling the tarps, they're selling the stoves, they're selling everything that they need for them to enter into the jungle. Why? This is a market. Why our people have to be a market? Why our Latino people have to be a pawn in a market? Why? Why we cannot provide a life and a living in their country? Why? Just yesterday in Cuba, there's a rising of Cubans that they're against the communist regime of Diaz-Canel. Nobody's helping. Nobody's putting attention. Nobody is grabbing information and spreading it. Just a few networks. These are people that they are only defending themselves because you have the typical American that says, why don't they stay in their country and fight for their country? These are communist countries. They don't have guns like you have. They don't have tools like you have. The only thing that they have is a pencil, and they have a stick, and they have a rock. And that is the only way that they are going to defend themselves. And the last time that this has happened, a lot of innocent people in Cuba that rise against the bad government, they went to prison. And a lot of them, they were disappeared, if you know what I mean. In Venezuela, in the protests in 2008 and 2009, and also in 2010 and 11 and 12 and in 2015, they rised and they were protesting against the Maduro regime. Go and read the history of the multiple millions of people that they are protesting in Venezuela because they wanted their country back. Venezuela was one of the most prosperous countries in terms to petroleum. He's the most richer. It is much richer than you, the United States. They are much richer than you in petroleum. They're much richer than you. And imagine, they're poor right now. Their value. I was in the jungle the other day. Look at this. Money dropped on the floor. Venezuelan money on the floor, on the jungle, on the terrain. We found money. Why you will find money of the most richest country that exists in terms to petroleum? Why you will find that? Do you know Cuba? It is one of the most important countries in terms to food, in terms to tourism, in terms to music. They're extremely talented. They're extremely rich. And look what communism has done to them. And they say, these progressive and these liberals, they say it is the sanctions. The sanctions are not are not stopping the groceries from entering Maduro's stomach. As you see him, he's chubby and he has big cheeks, and he rides on late model automobiles, and also other governors from other parts of Venezuela. They have exotic automobiles. If there was the sanctions, you will not have privileges ultimately to live in Cuba. They blame the sanctions. You will ask every Cuban, every single Cuban, you will ask him if this is about the sanctions, and they will tell you, no, it's not. It's about the regime. They want to be free. So this is when you come to a conclusion, you come to understand. Every time that I'm in the Darien jungle, that I have walked that 4 times, I've been in 11 caravans. I have walked Central and South America with my people. Those are my people. Those are Latinos. I'm a Latino. Whether you like it or not, I'm brown and I'm proud of it. And I was born in Mexico. It's hard for me to see a child, whether people are saying, oh my God, that is child abuse. We don't want to maintain him. We don't want to take him because he's going to be, next thing you know, I have seen horrible comments of people saying that child is going to be a criminal and he's going to grow. Like, how do you know? That child is in the Darien Gap. How do you know that he's going to go to your country? How do you know that he's not going to stay possibly in Panama, Costa Rica? Possibly he doesn't even want to go over there. He wants to go to El Salvador with Nayib Bukele. Everybody wants to move to El Salvador now because that's the best president of the world. How do you know? You're judging on somebody. But the most horrible thing is that we're not creating a pathway. We're surfacing into a deep hole every day. And this is a humanitarian business now. Sadly, people are being used for a humanitarian profit. And then you have the average, legitimate case of asylum and refugee. You have a legitimate case of asylum and refugee. And when you have that legitimate case of asylum and refugee, you will think, well, this is a legitimate case. It's a legitimate case of asylum and refugee. But look at this. This just happened. This just happened. This is what insecure borders, not having a filter, looks like. And I'm sorry for people that they are, oh my God, you are, I hate this victimization language because only the white liberals use this. And before I move on, imagine this: white liberals attacking a Mexican national. Imagine that. These people that they are saying, oh, the imperialists, the imperialist right wingers, the extremists. These are the people that they attack me. The white progressive liberals, that they do hit pieces and they do their, they want to do their articles, attacking a Mexican citizen, for God's sake, attacking a Mexican national, putting his life at risk at a foreign country that is not even theirs, putting them at risk, because I'm speaking the reality and the facts, because my narrative doesn't fit their liberal progressive narrative. What have I told you? I have told you so many times, if I'm not a Republican. I have said that multiple times. If the people that they are surrounding me, they're Republican and they're Trumpers, I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? Give me some Biden people so I can tell them this is the truth, man. You want to ride with me? You want to walk the jungle? Come on, man. Grab my hand. Let's go to the jungle. You want to walk in a caravan? Come on, man. What are you? I'm Team Kamala. Come here. I want to show you, man. I want to show you how it is. But nobody of those people, they want to do that because, oh my God, I don't want to hang out with an extremist. I'm not an extremist. First and foremost, for everybody, I was born in Tijuana, Mexico, and I'm proud of it. I'm a Mexican citizen. And more than that, more than a Republican, Democrat, and all these political crap that I don't believe in, I am Team Jesus. I don't know what team you are, but that is my team. I am Team Jesus at the end of the day. That's my team. I want my people to stop suffering, migrating through these horrible journeys, being abused, being trafficked, being taken advantage of, and ultimately NGOs and organized crime making a profit on top of it and not putting a solution. We are 4 years inside this government of the Biden administration and has always been about checks and balances. There hasn't been a solution. This just happened. I'm not even lying about it. This is what happened, and it is registered like that. It says right there on the bottom for all these liberals. It says illegal migrant admits that he is a member Iran-backed Hezbollah. The article says this. The article that it was written by Fox News, and let me quote the person that wrote this article before I move forward. It's by Michael Lee. Oh, Mr. Griff Jenkins. Ultimately, it says an illegal migrant caught in Texas near to the Mexican border earlier this month claimed he's a member of the terror network Hezbollah. Was bound for New York and intended to make a bomb. Oh my God. I'm sorry. YouTube, Facebook. I'm sorry about that. Intended to make a bomb, source confirmed to Fox News. Basel Efbadi. That is his name. Or Basel Efbadi. A 22-year-old Lebanese migrant was caught in El Paso sector on March 9th. The Department of Homeland Security, Customs, and Border Protection sources said, confirming the authenticity of a memo reported in the New York Post. Fox News is told further investigation will determine if he truly had terror ties and planned to launch an attack into the United States. Sources warn that volunteering terror connections will be highly unusual. Lastly, Ebadi has remained in the U.S. custody, and the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force has been investigating the authenticity of his claims that sources added. That is crazy. A person just, basically reporting and saying that he is going to do a terrorist attack. Now, for people to understand, not too long ago in 2021, I was walking a caravan. Out of all the caravans that I have walked, the migrants themselves, not me, this was not my statements. These were the statements of the migrants. This was a caravan that of of basically 3,000 to 4,000 people. This caravan that it was around 3,000 to 4,000 people was basically walking for further municipal cities, as I have documented before. They walked through municipal cities, through different checkpoints, to demand the authorities of Mexico for them to get basically a permit that is called the multiple migration form for them to walk freely into the northern border, into the south borders of the United States. They got to this place that is called Huixla. Huixla, it is a place that has a customs agency that is called Cerro Gordo. This customs agency, particularly a lot of the migrants go there walking because majority of the times the Mexican customs, they give them the multiple migration form until that point. This is walking almost like possibly 2.5 days. They got there and this caravan completely destroyed the customs agency, completely destroyed the premises. They blocked the roads, and this is a reality. It's all on camera. And they blocked the roads, causing millions and millions of pesos because they blocked it for 2 days. And this is a really important road that connects from Chiapas, the last state of Mexico, to Guatemala. So all the carriers, semi-trucks, that they were carrying goods and food and international and exportation, importation was stopped. They lost millions. Ultimately, also vehicles that they were stopped for days, so on and so on. What happened was that on that particular place, in that particular caravan, many migrants, they were approaching us, the journalists, and saying, there's a really dangerous gang infiltrated on this caravan. It is called Tren de Aragua. This is a really dangerous gang by Venezuela. I didn't know anything about Tren de Aragua. I was like, what is that? So I started reading about it Meanwhile, I was waiting to do a hit with the network. Started reading about it, and I was like, this is extremely violent gang. Every journalist that it was there, we were concerned because we did not have security whatsoever. The migrants were being agitated little by little, and they started confronting the Mexican authorities, the National Guard authorities, and to a point that they were spitting on their faces, they were throwing rocks, and they were throwing all kinds of obstacles to the authorities for them to give them their permits. On one particular point, I was on a live feed, and on that live feed, one of these people that they were part of this violent gang said on the live feed, if there's going to be blood that is going to be shred all over this place, I'm carrying a knife. And if I don't get the papers, somebody is going to die. That is how aggressive some of these individuals that they were infiltrated in the hundreds or in the thousands of vulnerable people, vulnerable families, vulnerable women. These kind of individuals were infiltrated on these groups. I started saying there's a violent gang that is coming into the south borders of the United States. This is a violent gang. Later on, the intelligence agency of Mexico that it was there reported that there were individuals, that they were agitators, and particularly these agitators were, in the fact, part of this violent gang. Later on, the Gateway Pundit picked up my video and plastered it all over the United States of America. Fast forwarding to right now, what has happened? You have a lot of these individuals inside of the United States of America. Not only that, there's a speculation that the leader of this violent gang, it is in the United States of America. Multiple people that they're part of this dangerous gang have been arrested. And because of these violent people, because of these irregular attitudes, ultimately the people that they are causing harm, the image of the good migrant, the good Samaritan migrant that wants to come in for the better opportunity, that wants to do things right, their reputation and their image is being pushed to the ground and stepped on to the ground. I have walked with doctors, lawyers, architects, engineers, teachers, models, influencers, good farm workers, good people. I have walked in caravans that they just want a better opportunity and they don't know how to do it. This is the bad thing about it that I have said multiple times before. These international organizations, their job should be to educate the mass migration of people that they want to move to one country to another, to know the process and to know the law of how they should migrate from one side to another. For them to not basically cut the line between them and the organized crime and the cartel, the ones that they're taking advantage of people, the ones that they're making money and profit out of people, the ones that they are taking advantage of the innocent people, the ones that they are putting children to migrate through the Rio Grande River and cross it in the most dangerous way, the ones that they're being smuggled into dangerous places in Arizona, in the parts of Lukeville, and it's next to Sonoita, the ones that they are being jumped through the ladder cartel, risking their lives or falling in through the border wall. Those kind of situations, they shouldn't be existing to our people. If our people want to migrate, that shouldn't be the way. This globalist compact on migration, these pathways that these globalists weaponizing and using our people for their political gain and their propaganda, they're only hurting and hurting and hurting and hurting. The typical liberal, what they do to us, to the Mexican nationals, what they do to us, it is basically they come to our land. The typical white liberal, they come to our land, to Latin America. And when they come to our land, to Latin America, what they do is they project their hate to us. and they start saying to us, it is the Republicans, it is this, it is that. They are hating you. They're doing this, they're doing that. They are, these are the enemy. That is the enemy. That. So they bring their hate and their political trash to our minds, into our lives, when we are so worried about feeding our family, about getting our job, about the insecurities that we're living in our state, about our women being kidnapped continuously by the cartel and the organized crime, about our economy, about our schools, about our children having a better future. But what these progressive liberals, how they do, they bring their political trash into our country, and they create this hatred for them to win elections, for them to win their political votes and their political gain, for them to make it about politics. It's not even about the human beings. It's not even about the migrants. For them, it's all about blue and red. It's all about winning elections. It's all about maintaining and sustaining and attacking. In the meantime, people are dying. In this administration, just to say the least, this administration has been the administration where more migrants have died in between the limitations of Mexico and the United States, and that is a fact. Whoever wants to go against it, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. In this administration, under this ideology of opening up the border, more people have been abused. More people have died in Central and South America. And not only even in Central and South America, but let me tell you, on the sea, where they are being trafficked also through the Gulf Sea and through the Atlantic. Also, they have in really dangerous pathways to those particular places. It's really difficult to just, continue to explain to people that under this administration, what for you it is, as a foreigner to your country, I'm a Mexican citizen. As a foreigner to your country, what is for you illegal under this current administration of the United States of America, that is your president, Joe Biden, this is not illegal. This is legal. So just for you to understand, of the people that they're causing harm to migrants are these politicians that they do not care about what happens on the other side of the border. You have a lot of politicians on the American side. They're doing a horrible job. And let me tell you, one of them is Greg Abbott. He's doing a horrible job on the border. Look how his state, what he has done. Also, Katie Hobbs doing a horrible job in Arizona. Gavin Newsom doing a horrible job in the state of California. You have people in Congress like Veronica Escobar that does not even care what happens on the Mexican side in Juarez, where there's a war, where actual people are being kidnapped and migrants are being, abused and threatening their lives if they just go this little close to the border wall. Do you guys know that a migrant cannot even get close to the border wall? Because if they get close to the border wall, they will be stopped by the organized crime and tell them, what are you doing over here? Oh, I just want to jump and cross. No, you can't. For you to do that, you need to come to Papa and pay me a little bit over here. Give it to me. You cannot do that. It has happened before. In Tijuana, there were migrants that they were trying to do that. And one of them, his life was taken away because he tried to do it without the permission of the organized crime and the cartel. What the migrants are going through right now is horrible. It's just horrible. It's just a nightmare. It's a complete nightmare how these politicians, these globalists are using our people for their political gain. And a lot of the people are arriving to safe places where they are safe now. Not all of them, they want to go to the United States. A lot of them, they want to stay in Panama. They stay, a lot of them, in Mexico. And when they arrive to the safe place, they're happy. They're better when they were before. sad thing about it is, let me tell you this. Before I, is this a pro-migrant channel? I'm Oscar Blue Ramirez. I'm a bilingual journalist. I cover, humanitarian crisis, and also I have covered 2 wars. I have done this for more than 7 years now. It is not a pro-migrant or a non-pro-migrant. I'm just stating the facts. I don't know if you hate migrants or you don't, but I am a pro-migrant. I'm a migrant myself. I believe that migration is a human right, but there are laws, and you need to obey those laws and obey the processes for you to migrate from one country to another. I believe in legal migration. In illegal migration, it is only incentivizing the organized crime and the cartel to make more money and to have more control over cities. So I don't know if I answer your question, but welcome. Before I move on, the most sad thing about this, incentivization of moving forward to one country and to another and to another and to another. The most sad thing about it is that this idea of people leaving their land, it is basically killing the culture. They're forgetting about their customs. They're forgetting about their lives in their land. That's the horrible thing. Do you think that whenever you ask a Venezuelan if Venezuela was not in this regime by Maduro, this communist regime, will you leave Venezuela? And they will tell you, all of them, they will tell you, hell no. I will be right now in the beach in Margarita enjoying a coconut, enjoying my life. Venezuela has the most beautiful beaches in the world. Just for you to explain, let me explain to you something. The Venezuelan citizen, they did not need it to get out of their country to go to somewhere else to be a tourist. Venezuelan people used to be the #1 provider of economy of tourism themselves, because there are so many places to go that they have so many opportunities to just travel and go and enjoy, and enjoy their precious land. But now, because of communist regimes, they're being pushed out. Exactly as Cubans. If you ask a cubano, si tú le preguntas a un cubano, if you ask a cubano, if Cuba was not under Castro, it was not under Díaz-Canel, if Cuba was free, will you be here? They will tell you, are you crazy? I will be in La Habana, eating a melted plátano, a melted banana with some ice cream and a hot coffee. We'll be enjoying a cigar, just watching the beach and walking around this beautiful port. These lands are so beautiful. Why are our people being pushed out? Why are people being weaponized and used for a political agenda? Why? That is the question why. I don't want to go into details to be a conspiracy theorist like these leftists and progressives. They use their language to label us, that is their strategy. Ultimately, by the way, he's a live streamer. He is a content creator, Oscar Blue content creator. He's not a journalist. I graduated from college, going to journalism school, but no, for them he's a content creator. He's a live streamer. That's how they're, and look how bad it is. These white progressive liberals that they talk about so much about equality and racism and all that, and they're the ones that they denigrate an individual that is brown and that he lives in Mexico. They're the ones that they use this denigrating language as also using their minority. They're this, they're that. No, sirree. Nobody is a minority in the land of the free and the home of the brave in the United States of America. Let me tell you that. Everybody should fight for their equal opportunity to survive and to be all that they want to be. As the commercial says, everybody has the exact same dream, the exact same possibility. It only takes character, heart, love, and passion and compassion towards others to make it to the other level. The American dream, it is not, here I am, give me everything. I just arrived. How's everybody doing? I just arrived. I crossed the border. Where's my shelter? Oh, okay. Where's my phone? Where's my bonus? I just arrived. Okay, so I will. No, that's not the American dream. No, the American dream, as I remember, it is hard work. Hard work. Every single person that I know that they live in the United States of America, as family members, friends, before this open border, horrible thing started happening, they know about the American dream. Nobody is saying anybody deserves a better chance in life. Everybody deserves a better chance in life. It just, it's Jesus was a migrant. And I read the other day, and people started getting mad. I started reading quotes from the Bible when they talk about migrants. And people started, you're misinterpreting, the Bible. You are attacking they're illegal, Oscar. I'm just reading the Bible. Why are you getting mad if I'm reading the Bible of what it says about migrants? Why are you getting mad? Aren't you a Christian? Aren't you a believer, a firm believer in the Bible? We believe in law and order. Yes, we believe in that. But also, we should love each other. We should care about each other. And we should protect each other as to protect the land and to protect law and order, and ultimately, and to protect, the integrity of a human being. Somebody saying right here in the live feed, stop calling them migrants. I will call them as whenever I want to. It's my live feed. It's my platform, with all due respect. And I call them migrants because they're migrating. When they're in your land, when they're in your country, you can call them whatever you want. Meanwhile, they are in Central and South America. They're migrants. I'm sorry. That's the way it is. They're migrating. They're transitating. They're walking from one side to another. The way that they're doing it, if it is not correct to you, if it is not incorrect to you, that's up to your problem. I just told you, to your administration. The live feed says on the top, clearly it says on the top, the live feed, what is for you illegal, for the current administration, it is legal. And I'm explaining why. I'm explaining why. You're talking. This is a man that is saying breaking into a sovereign nation, breaking in his mind. I understand, into your country. I understand when they're in our country, Mexico, Central America, and South America, they're migrants. When you're in your country and they're entering illicitly, or the way that you want to call them, it's up to you. Yes, go ahead. It's your freedom, man. Nobody's taking away that freedom. But I'm telling you, your current administration, the current administration of the United States of America, your president, that is saying it's not my president. They stole the election, Oscar Blue. They did this. They did. I don't care. When I see a photo, it says 46th president of the United States of America, Joseph Biden, and then you have on the right side it says Vice President Kamala Harris. I don't know. That's what it says right now. So on paper, that president and that vice president, for them, I just showed you on screen, for them entering the country to a non-port of entry, it is not illegal. It is legal because they are asking for asylum and refugee. And what defends that argument, it is the international treaty of the Global Compact of Migration. Almost 2017, 18, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Almost 7, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 6 years and a half, almost 7 years. I have been talking about the Global Compact on Migration. Almost. And until now, people are understanding what it is about. Until this point, now people are opening up their eyes and opening up their brains to say, oh my God, what is this? What is this? What is the purpose behind it? What is the purpose behind it? What's the complete purpose of this? What is behind all of this globalization? When the Global Compact on Migration came out, the Global Compact of the Environment came out. the Global Compact of the environment, it is now what is the Green New Deal. When the Green New Deal came out in the Global Compact of the environment, you got two: Global Compact of Migration, Global Compact of the environment. The next one that it was going to come out, but COVID interrupted, was the Global Compact of Education, that it was going to be pushed through the Vatican. The Vatican was going to be in charge of the helping the children to get a worldwide education. The Global Compact of Education. 3 compacts. The one that has been sustainable due to all these globalists and all these people, politicians, that they're part of it, it is the Global Compact of Migration. I'm repeating it continuously for you to go and read it, and for you to understand. For you to understand, to say, for me that is illegal, but why is this illegal for me, and for other people it's not? And you need to understand why. You need to understand why. And the reason why, it is because of this. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News and different networks. I work with different people, collaborate with different people. Thank you so much for joining in. I am in the, I am in my city of Tijuana. And ultimately, I live over here. There's a comment right here. We'll put your comments. Somebody saying, Joy Roanne. How you doing, Joy? It says, see, your words are true because are a believer in Christ, so you don't put yourself above anyone else. I'm not. I'm just, let me just tell you, you throw rocks and you intend to receive flowers. I'm sorry. That's not the way the world works. You cannot be throwing rocks to somebody and think that I'm going to tell you, how you doing? Good evening. Give me a kiss. I'm sorry about that. But God bless your dear heart. And thank you for your comment. Thank you so much for your comment. I will read your comments. We're products, not consumers. Oscar is a great example of what it means to be a man, and great man at that. Thank you so much. There are very few men who will have the courage and will to not say what they said to the New York. Well, he's, he's. I cannot say that much about that. I will say in a couple of days, I will say what is going to happen, because something is going to come up in the next incoming days. Ms. Maggie, she's from Cuba. God bless your dear heart, Ms. Maggie. And, God bless freedom. We're doing well, Oscar. We surely do love you. Huge respect, my friend. Respect to you, Ms. Maggie. I heard you mention Sean Ryan. I heard your name mentioned on the Sean Ryan show today. Did you hear? No, I did not. I did not hear my name on the Sean Ryan show. I don't know who put my name on the Sean Ryan show, but if it went in there, well, I hope that it was on a good way, not in a bad way. If you pass through a country on your way to America, you cannot claim asylum in our country. First and foremost, America, it is a continent. It is not a country. But if you're referencing to the United States of America, yes, you are not correct. If you claim asylum in another country, that before entering to the United States of America, that will not give you a possibility to claim asylum again into the United States of America. You can transit to whatever place you want, but if you don't register as you want to be there, then you have the ability to transit all the way to the United States. That's what that's what we believe, and that's what I have read. So, the American dream is not over, and I'm proving it. I lost everything from their scandemic, but I'm back in the game. Congratulations to you. That was a really, out of place comment, but I read it. God bless you. Uh, is the United States a collaborator of the Global Compact on Migration? Yes, sir. The one that brought the Global Compact on Migration to the West Hemisphere was Barack Obama. Then later on, he brought, Trudeau into it, and the past president Enrique Peña Nieto. Three of them signed it. And basically, after three of them signed it, the Barack Obama administration had a plan for the next president to keep on with the Global Compact on Migration, which they thought that Hillary Clinton was going to win. But Hillary Clinton did not win. Donald Trump won, and he got out of it immediately of the Global Compact on Migration, cut the funding to the NGOs. Then the Mexican president under the Trump administration, AMLO, signed the Global Compact on Migration on November 18 of 2018 in Morocco. Also, Trudeau signed it. So the United States was getting smashed because people were coming in from both places, but, the borders were closed for entering through a non-port of entry. Then, Donald Trump lost the election to get reelected. Joe Biden came in, and he, after 2 to 3 weeks being president, he signed it again, the Global Compact on Migration. The way that I knew that he was going to sign it is that before Antonio Guterres, he serves under the United Nations. He has a really high profile in the United Nations, and he started tweeting about, if Joe Biden becomes president, they will continue with the plan to have ultimately, continue with the open borders and continue with the agenda of the Global Compact on Migration. So I knew immediately that if Joe Biden won the election, he was going to re-sign again the Global Compact on Migration. I started saying it to people, this is going to happen, this, and that. And inevitably, it didn't go that far. It was basically 2 to 3 weeks. And, that's the way it was. International law. Wow. Which international law you're talking about? There's non-international law. There is the United Nations law, and it is the international treaty. But I will go with your international law. It says if you do not attempt to claim asylum in the first country you cross through, you cannot claim asylum in the United States, aka America, which everyone in the world calls. Congratulations for you that everybody in the world calls it America. I'm a Mexican citizen, and I know well, our history, and I know that the continent, it is named America. The continent of America was named after Americo Vespucio. Americo Vespucio was the one that built the map for Christopher Columbus to how to get to the West. That's why the name of the continent is America, in the memory of Americo Vespucio. Just to give you a little bit of a history. And international law. I don't know where you're getting this international law. If a migrant crosses through different countries and he claims asylum in a third world secure country, he doesn't have the eligibility to claim asylum in another country. It doesn't even matter if it is the United States or if it is Mexico or if it is another country. Yes, that's the way it is. But if a migrant does not claim asylum in no other country and he's moving and transitioning to one country to another, then he cannot be stopped in a way. He will claim asylum in the place that he wants to claim asylum. And ultimately, he intends to go to the United States of America. Now, why a lot of these strategies occur? Sadly, a lot of the migrants, they dropped, what they do is that for them to not be registered and for them to, for them to not be identified that they have already claimed asylum, or they have lived in Chile for 5 years, they have lived in Peru for 3 years, they have lived in other places for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, that they don't have eligibility to ask for asylum because they already lived in another country safely. Now, because of that, they sometimes they lose their documents, and there's no record. There was a filter of how to create a record on a platform in Mexico. That was a biometrics filter, which was connected to the United States of America for them to understand if this individual already claimed asylum in the past, in past countries or something like that. So the United States will know if this individual is eligible for asylum or refugee, which I do not know. Uh, I do not know what is, if it is still on the platform or is still working. Sometimes people ask the most weird questions. God bless your dear heart, cowboy. Giddy up and hee ha. Thank you so much for being here, brother. Search Marine. There are 3 clubs poisoning America run by the UN in cities, counties, in state governments. Lions, Rotary, Kiwanis, old yellow and blue colors. I do not know what's going on with that. Are they really going to build cars in Mexico? They have been building cars in Mexico for the longest time. We have just for everybody to understand, the most lucrative and most important industry in the world, it is the automobile industry. The automobile industry, it is one of the most important ones between Mexico and the United States, and the United States and Mexico. As you need Mexico, Mexico also needs you. Mexico ultimately has all the manufacturing of the automobiles, and all the most important companies, the monsters that they create them, and they control the monopoly of thousands and thousands of jobs, and also economy worldwide, as Mazda, as Chevrolet, as Toyota, as all of these gigantic automobile industries. The manufacturing is in Mexico, is on our side. And ultimately the parts, they are in the United States of America. So the assembly line, it is in Mexico, but ultimately where it's sold, and the last part of the processing of the automobile, it's in the United States of America. So it is it is a part of the economy. It's the most lucrative economy in the world. The one that leads the economy in an automobile industry, it is China. It has 22.5 million cars they sell per year. The United States is really falling behind. It is 11.5 that they sell per year, automobiles. Kerry Waldrop, the reason why Mexico don't do anything about the cartels is because the government enjoys the millions of dollars that the cartel brings into Mexico. You're talking about your government? Question mark. Are we talking about your government? Because if we're talking about your government, you are absolutely correct. Because who's the one that is growing the cartels economically and financially? Let me just explain to you logical math. 1 + 1 is 2, right? And 2 + 2 is 4. I believe so. We are there, right? We are correct. So you have a buyer and you have a seller. This is the way, it works. This is the way it works. You have a buyer, you have a seller. You have a product that is completely addictive, and you have a product that you need to sell. You need to sell it, and you need a buyer. The number 1 buyer for fentanyl in the United States is the United States of America. The number 1 that has an addiction of fentanyl, it is the United States of America. The number 1 that has a problem of distribution into their schools and into their, rural cities as ghetto, it is the United States of America. The number 1 distributor of guns from the United States into the cartel, it is the United States of America. Also, not only that, 88.7 or 88.2% of the people that they have been arrested trafficking fentanyl in automobiles by the tons are U.S. citizens, and they're locked up in federal prisons. So if you're telling me if we have a problem with cartel, yes, we have. We have an enormous problem. But the United States doesn't have a cartel inside that is distributing their drugs. They don't have a cartel. They don't have a mafia. There's no kimping. How do they distribute themselves? They have AI. Do you have AI? So if you're telling me that Mexico is making a lot of money, yes, the cartels are making a lot of money. And ultimately, not only that, they're buying out politicians. But let me just tell you, how far away are your politicians as more corrupt as as the politicians in Mexico right now in the borders? How far away are they? Don't you think that uh, your politicians are? How do they do not know that the months of trafficking of fentanyl, trafficking of human beings, are crossing the border? Do you think that they don't know, or they know? What do you think? Pharmaceutical companies, they don't know about the enormous distribution of this product into your country and how it is massively distributed into your streets. The United States has a big problem of not creating programs for young kids, for them to not have an addiction to fentanyl. And the United States has right now a really insecure educational system where they are not providing enough security in schools for fentanyl to be continually distributed. So if you're pointing the finger to Mexico and the cartels, I know. But let me tell you, let me ask you something. From where is the currency that the cartels are being paid? Are they getting paid on euros? On China money? Are they getting paid on pesos? What are they getting paid? So there's no Italian mafia? There's no Russian mafia in the United States? The Aryan mafia, it is not a mafia? You don't have other mafias. All of them, all of the mafias that you're thinking, they're brown, right? They're brown. They wear a sombrero and they wear a gun. And these people are trafficking, discriminating in the Mexican car. They look like that. That's how you think. You need to understand the way that this is a multi-billion business that is enabling a lot of people to make a lot of money. And ultimately, not only that, the enemy for fentanyl, it is not even Mexico. It's China. You need to be worried about where that specific synthetic drug was created and where, and it has a purpose. It has a complete purpose to your countrymen. And they're using the cartels as mules for them to drive it into your country. And you're accepting it and you're buying it. And you have an enormous addiction problem. But the problem of security and the borders is not getting fixed. That's your problem. The problem of enabling the buy and the supply, it is not getting fixed. That's your problem. It's a question right here before we go. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. Whatever you're saying, that's fine. We don't care. That's fine. The answers sometimes they're so like egotistical sometimes. That's fine. But why doesn't Mexico offer to put soldiers? Offer. Why we should offer? We're a sovereign land. We're not your worker. Offer to put soldiers on the border when they see this crisis. Why don't they try to keep the border open? We don't keep the border open. Hold on a minute. Hold on. What the hell what the hell? What the hell just happened here? What is going on here, man? What just happened? Jesus Christ. The country that has an open border, yes, Mexico has one, but your country, it is the one that is part of this global compact on migration that they're accepting by the millions people through non-port of entries. It is your own government. Nobody else. It is your own government. Nobody else. Do you know how many? And let me explain to you how the authorities are outnumbered in Mexico due to the cartel activity. Do you know how dangerous it is for a good police officer to go and try to fight a cartel member over here? A lot of them, they're being, eradicated, assassinated, because they don't have the resource. Because the cartel, it is more equipped, it is technology more equipped now than the own government. Do you know how difficult it is to find a good 10 to 20 good police officers that they want to do good for the people and they want to fight against the bad people? Do you know how hard that is? And because of the enormous corruption and the buy and the supply, this has opened out another market that a lot of people are intending to close their eyes and nothing is going on over there. And you're seeing tons and tons and tons being smuggled. Do you know how difficult it is? How many police officers had lost their lives in Mexico trying to defend our country? How many soldiers have lost their lives trying to defend our country? Do you know how many? Do you know how many politicians have also have lost their lives because they want to fight the cartel and fight the bad things that are happening into our country? Do you know? Just to give you an example, not too long ago, I was 13 years of age. Let me give you an example. There was a candidate for the political party PRI. No, we're not a lost country. We are a great country. Somebody's saying, so Mexico is a lost country. No, we're not. You should be worried about your own country right now. And as I was 13 years of age, I was in first year of junior high. And there was a political candidate that it was going to change our country. His name was Luis Donaldo Colosio. And, he was going to completely change our country. He had every dream to change our country. One day, he was at a rally, walking in the middle of the people, and he said, I don't need security. I don't need people surrounding me with security and protecting me. And they took the life of that man in front of hundreds of people. It is the greatest conspiracy of all, but everybody knows who did it. But it is the greatest conspiracy of all who really did that. And everybody knows who did it. Many politicians have tried. But sadly, it is a humongous market. And a lot of private entities, authorities, politicians are involved now. That's why I have said multiple times before, we need to work together. We need to work together. We need to forgive ourselves for the past, and we need to work together. We need to unite and work together. As it is your problem, as it is our problem, we need to solve our problems first, and then we need to work together. That's what we need to do. I already extended an hour and 23 minutes. I already extended a lot. God bless you. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News, Patriot Mobile. Before I go, there is Buy Me a Coffee link right there. If you guys like to, contribute to my independent reporting and travel fund, Buy Me a Coffee. It is right there. I am traveling soon, so I'm independent, so I depend on your support, and I completely appreciate your support. Now, a lot of the people have said, why Instagram? You don't post that much on English. So go to my Twitter, X, now known as X. Go to X, and all that I post on X, it is all on English. The majority of all that I have posted is on English. I haven't been active and I haven't been continuously informing after we came from the Darien Gap. I have a personal issue, a family issue that is extremely important that I'm taking care of right now. And I do not have right now the time to come and do this. I'm doing this really late at night. It's 11:01 over here. We have more than 1,000 people watching right now, and it is 11:01 at night. And I'm doing this right now because I really wanted to talk about this, and it is so important that we talk about this continuously. But I wanted to come have a conversation with you guys and talk about these issues that on my perspective, from my perspective, from no political side, on my perspective. This is why when I talk to Democrats, I let them know what I think. When I talk to Republicans, I let them know what I think, and sometimes we agree to disagree. But that doesn't mean that I should not shake your hand. That doesn't mean that I will attack you, that I hate you, that I will hurt you, that I want you to disappear. No, that will make us understand your point of view, my point of view, and come to an agreement on what we can do together. I understand what you say, but I don't believe that. So I understand what you say, but I don't believe that. So let's unite and let's find a common ground between us and stop this, because people are dying. People are suffering. That's the worst thing. The people are dying, people are suffering, and children are suffering. And that is one of the things that I have said this before. I'm not a Republican. Again, I said I'm not a Democrat. I am Team Jesus. I don't know which team you are, but that is my team. That's the only political party that I'm with. Team Jesus. Other than that, I'm just a reporter, journalist, that does his reporting on borders, that I have traveled through Central America, South America, and also Europe, and also I went and did a coverage in Ukraine. I went and did a coverage in Israel. Um, I have done a couple of wars, doing coverages in a couple of wars. With my mentor, with the great Chuck Colton, which I miss a lot. So just wanted to tell you that. God bless you guys. Stay safe. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Before I go, is 1,030 people, so I'm gonna do this. I don't do usually this, but we'll do this. I'm a Catholic, so I will do a really quick prayer. Lord, thank you so much for everything that you have done, everything that you have given us, and everything that you provide us every day. Another day to breathe, another day to live, another day to feel. Lord, please, let's find peace between the left and the right, and the right and the left, and the middle. Whoever it is, you're the only one that it can unite, the only one that it can bring love and compassion to all of us, and to understand us, and to find common ground. Please, Lord, help those ones that they're sick, those ones that they're sick with cancer, those ones that they're sick with AIDS, those ones that they're sick with some disease. Help the blind, help the one that is suffering, help the one that is migrating right now through the jungle. Lord, protect them to not suffer, to not be hurt, to not be robbed, to not be stolen, to not be raped, to not be abused. Help the children, Lord, protect them also. Let's fight this together, Lord. You're the only one. You are key. You are a savior. You're the King of Kings. You're the only one that it can have the solution. You're the yes. You're the no. You're the start. You're the end. You're everything, Lord. In your hands we put our souls and we put our faith. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless you. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. Stay safe. Have a blessed night. It was nice talking to you guys. And I'm going to go to sleep right now. And going to go to sleep, take a long nap, try to wake up early in the morning. I have to attend a family situation really early in the morning. So God bless you. Stay safe. And, like we always say, God's plan, it is our mission. Stay safe. Before I go, follow great people in our broadcast. People that I have been, you know, for quite some time. So every single person that you will see me that I'm collaborating with, follow them as, Michael Young, Chuck Holton, and Vander Steele, my brother Ben Berquam, my brother Ben, Auden Cabello also, another journalist, Raymond Azar, my brother Raymond Azar, that he's a Venezuelan journalist also, does great content. A lot of a lot of great people, a lot of great people, man. There's good-hearted people. Thank you so much for joining in. Stay safe. Like we always say, God's plan, it is our mission. Take care. We're here with at CPAC Mexico with the president of Mis amigos migrantes, pues aquí estoy.
Total catastrophe, and it is a crisis.
Of a child right there. All these NGOs, you're fake. It is this, the crisis of children.